Alright, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube citizens, y'all know who this is. This is your boy Dash the True Inferno. And here we are as I am finally reviewing Let There Be Eve, Ruff Ryders' First Lady by Eve, obviously. Now, 2 weeks ago I gave y'all a choice of which albums I should review, and this tied Extension Level Event by Busta Rhymes. So I reviewed that last week, and now I'm reviewing Eve's debut album this week. So with that said, let's not waste any time, let's get straight into it. So like I said, Let There Be Eve, Ruff Ryders' First Lady is the debut album of Eve. It came out September 14, 1999. Remember that year. Now this album came out under Ruff Ryders Entertainment and Interscope Records. It sold 213,000 copies in the first week this album dropped. The album has sold over 2 million copies according to SoundScan and is certified double platinum, which is pretty cool. All the songs on the album were written by Eve herself, and she became the third female hip-hop artist to have her album peaked at #1 on the Billboard 200, with Lauryn Hill's debut album, The Miseducation Lauryn Hill, being the first to top the chart in 1998, and Foxy Brown's second album, China Doll, achieving the feat earlier in 1999. So, here's the producers involved with this album. You got D. Dean, who was the executive producer, alongside with Rod Dean, another executive producer. You also got Swizz Beatz, who is all over this album. More on that later. You also got PK, DJ Shook, J. Ice Pick Jackson, and that's it for the producers. Now, looking at the charts, this album was #1 in the R&B albums charts. It was #1 in the Billboard 200, like I mentioned, and it was number 16th on the top Canadian album charts. All of them in 1999, obviously. Now, there are a grand total of 18 tracks, and I mentioned that this album was double platinum before we get to the tracks. It's double platinum, but according to the Music Canada certifications, it was just platinum. So, yeah, there you go with that. Now let's get on to the tracks. There's 18 tracks. However, if we were to look through these tracks, the first track, 2, 3, 4, 5, there's 6 skits, where the first track is the intro, and then there are 5 skits to go along with it. Meaning, there's really 12 tracks on here that's like strictly songs. Now, granted, one of the skits is a song. I believe, yeah, it was I think it's 2 of them. It was My Bitches and I forgot, I think it was just that one. No, and My Enemies, yeah, that's right. So yeah, those are the 2. We'll get more of the tracks in a second. But basically, since how there's 12 official songs on this album, I can only give you a top 3 and not a top 5. So with that said, let me give y'all the track listings. The first track is called First Lady, in parentheses, intro, followed by Let's Talk About, featuring Drag On, member of Ruff Ryders. The third track is called Got a Man, featuring Mashana. Next up is Philly Cheesesteak, which is a skit, the second skit if you're counting the intro, followed by Philly Philly, featuring Philly Philly, featuring Philly's own Beanie Siegel, as I hit the mic, sorry about that. Track number 6 is called Stuck Up, featuring CJ, followed by Ain't Got No Dough, with features Missy Elliott. Notice the word features a lot in this album, yeah. Track number 8 is called BM, another skit, followed by Love Is Blind, featuring Faith Evans. Next up is Scenario 2000, featuring DMX, The Lox, and Drag On. More on that track later. Track number 11 called Dog Match, featuring DMX, followed by track number 12, I mentioned this earlier, My Bitches, which is another skit. Track number 13 is called We On That Shit, exclamation point, featuring P Killer Tracks with a Z. Track number, and I'm assuming that's the aka PK, who was the producer of that track. But before I move on with the track listings, everything up to track number 12 was produced by Swizz Beatz, by the way. There's 2 more tracks produced by Swizz Beatz, but like I said, Swizz Beatz was all over this album. Track number 14 was called Chokey Nikes, or Chokey Nikes, without I, and that's a skit. And that one was produced by J. Ice Pick Jackson. So he only produced a skit. That's it. And it's not like, oh, it was a song that was in the middle of a skit or anything. Like, it was just a plain old skit. So that's pretty interesting. Track number 15 is called Maniac featuring Swiss Beats. So yes, Swiss Beats produced this one and the next one, which is another skit called My Enemy. So this is the 6th and final skit off this album. Track number 17 is called Heaven Only Knows. And track number 18 is called What Y'all Want Remix, which is a bonus track. And those last 2 tracks was produced by DJ Shook. So yeah, there you go with that. Now, surprisingly enough, there were 3 singles off of this album, and I was kind of shocked because I'm like, wait, 3? I thought there was only just 2. The first single came out June 1999. It's called What Y'all Want. Oh, actually, you know what? I take that back. So there's a little bit of info about What Y'all Want. So here's the thing with What Y'all Want. What Y'all Want, the original song, was not off of this album. Earlier that year, under Ruff Ryders, they came out with an album called Ride or Die Volume 1. Now you heard me mention that album in the past when I reviewed Ride or Die Volume 2. So again, the original song came out earlier that year in 1999. That's why I said remember the year 1999, because that is an important year. Moving on. So on Eve's album, instead of putting that song on there for some reason, they put the remix on there. So remember, Ride or Die Volume 1 came out April 27th, 1999. And I'm not sure if that was a single off of that album or it was just a single off of Eve's album. But either way, it was on Ride or Die Volume 1 first, along with another song that I'm going to talk about in a minute. But anywho, the single, which is the original that is, it was number 29 on the US Billboard Hot 100. If I could click on it. Yeah, US Billboard Hot 100. It was number 9 on the Hot R&B/hip hop songs and number 1 in the Hot rap songs. So it was not bad. And I actually remember that song, and it was okay. As you know, as a song and as a single. You know, nothing spectacular, but again, it was okay. That's all I gotta say about it. The next single rather is called Love is Blind, which came out August 31st, 1999. So this is the one that features Faith Evans. And I remember that one. That one was actually pretty good. Now, as far as how it do in the charts, Love Is Blind was 34th on the US Billboard Hot 100. It was number 11 on the US on the Hot R&B/hip hop songs, and number 10 on the Hot rap songs. And then the third single off of this album is called Got a Man. And I remember that single as well. That was and that one was 26 on the Billboard Hot 100, 10th on the Hot R&B/hip hop songs, and number 8 on the Hot rap songs charts. So none of these 3 singles peaked on any other chart anywhere in the world, just in the US, just in those 3 charts. Now, the 4th song I want to talk about is Scenario 2000. Now, here's why I want to talk about this song. There's 2 reasons actually why. Now, I don't know why, but when I was listening to this song through online streams and on YouTube, how it was presented on the album, I don't know if this was the case or not, but apparently how this was presented on the album, it was the clean censored version. Now, why was that? I have no idea. Now, there is a official dirty version of the song. I do have that part a while back, but the fact that the album only had a clean version of that song where everything else was not clean. Every other song on this album was not clean, obviously. Neither was the skits. So that, and it look at the titles. My Bitches and We On That Shit. I mean, come on. So for this song to be cleaned up and placed on this album like that is kind of mind-boggling. And especially since this is one of, if not the best song off of this album. I'll get more on that later. Now, the second reason why I want to talk about this song, and this is the more important reason, is because this song has so many ties with Jigga My Nigga. So you probably wonder, wait a minute, that's a Jay-Z song. What does Scenario 2000 have to do with Jigga My Nigga? Well, let me share some news on you real quick. So, like I said, Jigga My Nigga is a song by Jay-Z. However, just like that first single, What Y'all Want, Jigga My Nigga also was on Ride or Die Volume 1, which came out again April 27th of 1999. The song itself, I believe this had I think it did have a music video. I don't remember if it did or not, but the song itself, Jigga My Nigga, came out May 28th, 1999. And it was also produced by Swizz Beatz, just like Scenario 2000. And the song eventually found its way as a hidden track on Jay-Z's fourth album, Volume 3, Life and Times of S. Carter, which came out on December 28th of the year, you guessed it, 1999. So here's the connection. The beat that was used in Jigga My Nigga was later remade for Scenario 2000. So that's why those two songs connect. If you would have heard the beginning of Jigga My Nigga, it would be like dun 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 dun, and then the beat came in. So basically, Swizz Beatz took that part and changed it up to Scenario 2000, which is really, really dope. By the way, the beat is really, really dope. So yeah, I recommend you hear Jigga My Nigga and then hear Scenario 2000 so you can hear it for yourself. Now, let me get on with the best tracks off of this album, starting with the worst track off this album. And again, I'm not going to count the skits. So the worst track off this album is What Y'all Want Remix, because it's just like the beat is like it does the original shame. I put it like that. Even though the original, both beats are like have that Latino type of beat, but this one was like strictly Latino. And there's nothing, I mean, it's just the beat is different. That's it. There's nothing about the lyricism. Now, granted, I did not hear that whole song from start to finish, but so far at the beginning, there's nothing different about this song. So it's like, it's another version, basically. The next worst song off this album is Philly Philly. The intro sounds cool, like it could be epic, and it have cool drums. But here's the problem with Swizz Beatz doing this album. I get more on that later. It's just like the melody for this song messing up. Even though Siegel was on this album, and obviously he's dope as a lyricist, but the beat messed it up outside from the cool drums and the epic intro. Next worst song is Maniac featuring Swizz Beatz, followed by Got a Man, which was not bad actually. Next up is Dog Match featuring DMX, followed by Love Is Blind featuring Faith Evans. Again, that was a good one right there. Stuck Up was pretty cool. Ain't Got No Dough was really cool featuring Missy Elliott. And of course, We Own That Shit featuring Pete Killer Tracks. Man, and she goes in really hard on that song, dog. I really want to put that in my top 3, but I couldn't. So let's get on to my top 3. Number 3 is Let's Talk About featuring Drag On. A dope track. For those of you who don't know who Drag On is, man, he was a dope lyricist back in the day. He still raps now, and he actually likes some of my stuff on Instagram. Like anytime I advertise a single or my upcoming beat album or anything like that, he would actually like it. So you know, that's pretty cool. But this song right here is cool as well. Second best track off this album, Heaven Only Knows. Now this obviously by the title, this is a mellow out joint. So, and y'all know how I feel about the mellow out joints. So, obviously, and this one was really good. Like she really, I wouldn't say she go in hard because it's a mellow out joint, and you can't do that on the mellow out joint. But like she did her part with this one. So yeah, I really like this one. And of course, number 1, Scenario 2000. Like I said, the beat was out cold, and you got DMX, the Locks, and Drag On this joint along with Eve. So you know that mug is dope. Now, granted, this is the clean version, but the dirty version is out there on YouTube, so you can go out and find that and listen to that yourself. But yeah, Scenario 2000 is clearly the best track off of this album. Now, let me get on to some professional reviews, or ratings rather. All Music gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Entertainment Weekly gave it a C+. Music, with a Z and a K, gave it 4 out of 5 stars. NME gave it 7 out of 10. Pop Matters gave it favorable. Q gave it 4 out of 5 stars. Robert Chris Gall gave it 2 stars. Ouch. The Rolling Stone and The Source both gave it 3.5 out of 5 stars. So, what do I think about this album? Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. This is my only Eve album that I have ever listened to. And even though it finished #1 in the Billboard 200 and the top R&B/hip hop albums, which is something no other Eve album have done, because she finished #1 in her next 2 albums, but only in the top R&B/hip hop albums category, not in the Billboard 200s. But I could tell by, and then I also look at the certification. This is her only album to go double platinum. Her next, she came out with 4 albums. I didn't even know she came out with a 4th one, to be honest. Her next album after this, Scorpion, finished with platinum status, sold 1.5 million copies, and finished #1 in the top R&B/hip hop albums, but only #4 on the Billboard Top 200. But based on what I have seen in the track listings, Scorpion to me seemed like it's her best album. But this one ain't bad. This one ain't bad. I'm gonna give this one 3.25 out of 5. And I would say download this album, and it'll be up to you whether you want to keep it or not. But again, it's not bad. It's really not bad. It's just the problem with this album is Swizz Beatz. Now, Swizz Beatz makes some out cold beats, but in this case, he did just about every beat on this album. I mean, yeah, so, and that could either be a good thing or that could be a bad thing. In this case, it was a bad thing because the melody was like bland. Like why you use that melody? Like, you know, it was, in some cases it was too high pitched and it didn't fit or whatever. But the drums were still cool for the most part. But like, for example, Philly, the melody for that one, when the beat dropped actually and they got out the intro stage, I'm like, what's up? Like, what's up with this? Like, what's up with this melody? Like, it just don't sound right. And that's how it was for most of Eve's tracks that Swizz Beatz produced. So that hurt this album. Nothing Eve did hurt this album, by the way. Nothing she did hurt this album. It was just Swizz Beatz with his beats, or how he made his beats, rather, in this case, that hurt this album. So again, 3.25 out of 5 stars. Download it, and it's up to you whether you should keep it or not. Now, next week, I'm gonna pick, I already got an album in mind, and it's gonna be like that for a while. I'm just gonna pick albums that I want to review, whether I heard it or not heard it, or got it or not got it, and then I'll review them for y'all, you know, over the next few weeks. However, if there's a specific album that you want me to review that is 10 years old or older to the day you're watching this, let me know in the comment section. I will review it. I've done it in the past. I have not ignored anybody's requests. So go ahead, man. You know, let it fly. So yeah, with that said, man, y'all know who this is. This is the new Jay Gatsby, aka the new Stephen A. Smith, saying peace out, y'all, and I'll see y'all next time. Yeah.